Hello everyone, it's Brandon here again for another video. In today's video, I am going to describe the metaphysical implications of Einstein's special theory of relativity, or theory of special relativity, actually. I misspoke there. So, I'm going to describe what it means on an existential level for the different things that Einstein proved about light. I'm going to be looking at some of the main points that Einstein found when he created this theory, which is one of the highest theories in science. It is understood to be a great theory, hasn't been disproven to this point, and unlike general relativity, there aren't really any theories working to supersede the special relativity theory yet. So, what am I going to be talking about in this video specifically? I am going to be debunking materialists and scientists, their view of the world. I'm going to be pointing out some really pretty common sense things, the implications of Einstein's theory. So, I'm going to be talking about space and time, and one of the key things that science and materialism hold as a framework for all of reality is they look at everything, and you probably do this too. Almost everyone on planet Earth holds the belief that time always exists. It is a first order phenomena, and that space always exists and is a first order phenomena. And for anything to exist, these two things must be there. That is a key argument from atheists, materialists, or scientists. But luckily, about 100 years ago, Einstein proved that this was not the case. And there are some really cool implications and really interesting things that come about by finding out that time and space are not first order phenomena. But we'll get into that later. Now let's talk about the theory of special relativity. The theory of special relativity deals with light and the speed of light. It is where the speed of light was discovered mathematically. And it also talks about how light experiences time differently, and that the way that you experience time, how quickly you travel through time, depends on what speed you're going. Einstein stopped calling it space and time. He started calling it space-time. One thing. Space-time. This is a common thing that Einstein started talking about. That it is essentially, it's kind of like one continuum. On one end, we have traveling the maximum amount through time, but not traveling through space at all. And then at the other end, we have traveling through space at the maximum speed. And in that case, you will not travel at all throughout time. If you're interested, you can do a quick Google search, does light experience time? The first result that came up for me was from phys.org, and in that article by them, it's a physics website, they explain that from the standpoint, or from the perspective of light, there is no time, and also there is no space. And I'll give you a little bit of a model you can use to think about why light also wouldn't experience space due to this. So, light doesn't travel instantaneously. Instantaneous, that word has within it the idea that there is a such thing as time. Time does not exist for light. And because of this, light travels until it hits a barrier in all directions. It can travel through the vacuum of empty space forever until it hits something. And as soon as it hits something, it no longer exists. In this example, let's say we have a photon that emits from right here, or a source of light might emit photons in all directions. Each one of these photons travels without any time at all, not even instantaneously, with no time, travels to its end, hits its end, and no longer exists from the experience of time. From the experience of light. Because there's no time, there's also no space. And if you're still not getting these concepts, you can do some more research on your own. It's a well understood thing that light does not experience space or time. But I haven't seen anywhere else that someone has actually connected the dots between this scientific discovery and philosophy. So in philosophy, there's this idea of first order phenomena, or things that must exist for other things to exist. And a lot of people talk about time and space as being first order phenomena. But as we see with the theory of special relativity, it was scientifically and mathematically proven that there is a special case in our own reality where time and space do not exist. Yes, from our point of view, we see light traveling through space, at this point in time, like 1 year into it, it's gone a certain distance, and then 2 years it goes here, and 3 years it goes here. But from light's perspective, there's no time and there is no space. That's already been scientifically proven, well understood. So there's a special case where time and space do not exist. This proves that time and space are not a constant. They are not always there. And that is what something must be constant for it to be a true first order phenomena. Now, if you followed up to this point, you've already gotten some good information, good perspectives, and you could just stop here, or you could follow along as I take you deeper into what it really means that time and space are not first order phenomena. So, next, we have to ask, what is the first order phenomena? What is that thing that everything else needs to exist? And here I will give you the answer. You don't have to think about it at all. You don't have to scratch your head and wonder what is the true first order phenomena. Now I'll go ahead and tell you. It's consciousness. Consciousness is the constant. For there to be a physical reality, or a reality that is perceived as physical, like what you think you're living in right now, there must be consciousness. Ask yourself this question. Have you ever experienced anything, or has anything ever existed for you personally without consciousness? Think about it. Has anything ever existed, truly existed for you without consciousness? No, because consciousness is practically synonymous to the word experience. Consciousness is experience. Experience is consciousness. For there to be something truly existing, it must be experienced. It must be experienced. And to any of the materialists who might watch this or say, but hey, consciousness doesn't always exist. Saying that things must exist because of consciousness, you're just making a leap in logic. Well, I ask you, where is there any proof ever in all of humanity's existence and all of the universe's existence? Where is there proof where you can show me something without consciousness, without using consciousness to show me the thing? There's no evidence that anything has ever existed without consciousness. There's no evidence of it. Now you might say, well, we know that the universe is 13.8 billion years old, Brandon. And there weren't any humans there. There weren't any animals there. There were no conscious observers there. What's your answer to that? Well, to that I say, you're assuming that the universe is not conscious. And also, we don't truly know that the universe is that age. We have certain scientific measurements and things that will point us to that. But truly, all of that is just being done within consciousness. It's all being done within consciousness. Every little bit of it. Every little bit of science is being done within consciousness. And this is essentially a story. A story to try to describe this, what is normally seen as a physical reality. But you can't get reality without consciousness. You really can't. And materialists like to make the assumption that consciousness only exists for different creatures or humans or animals. How do they know that? How do you know that light isn't conscious? Now, I get it. You might be saying, but Brandon, the burden of proof is on you because you are saying that, because if you're saying that light is conscious, the burden of proof is on you. Well, honestly, the burden of proof is just as much on you. You have no proof whatsoever that things that you think are not conscious, you have no idea whether they are or not. You think and you assume because I'm conscious and I'm a human being on planet Earth that for consciousness to exist, things must be like human beings to have consciousness. That's a big leap in logic right there. That's a huge leap in logic. To think that for things to be conscious, they must follow the exact ingredients that we have. It's a little bit arrogant. But anyway, so what does it mean for consciousness to be a first order phenomena? Now we start to get into the realm of spirituality and God, and things start to really make sense. Think about it. God is typically thought of as omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. God is consciousness. God is the awareness of this physical reality and also everything within this physical reality. God is everything in the world and the consciousness that sees everything in the world. But even more so, what it truly is like is God is all consciousness. You are part of God. You are God, actually, in a very real sense. The true you, not the ego you, not the human being you, but the awareness you. You are synonymous with God. And how does this make sense with the omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient thing? So, how it works is just like a dream. Just like when you dream, your awareness creates everything within that dream. Your awareness in that dream has all power, omnipotent. If your awareness is aware that it's dreaming, such as lucid dreaming, you can literally change anything within that dream world. You're also everywhere within the dream world because the dream world is you. It is your awareness. It is completely created by your awareness, through your awareness. So you're omnipresent and you're also omniscient. Everything within the dream is known by you because you created everything within the dream. And the more that you are lucid within the dream, the more lucid you are within the dream, the more omniscient you are, the more omnipotent you are, the more omnipresent you are, the more you're aware that you're everything and everywhere within the dream. Try lucid dreaming. It doesn't take that long. You just have to do some quick exercises, and you can do it in probably like a week or so. You can look that up, and you'll start to understand more of what I'm talking here from a true experiential standpoint. But so we see that your awareness kind of acts as a god within your dreams when it is lucid. The same thing happens for our normal physical reality. God, when it becomes lucid or conscious that it is God, by having higher states of consciousness, it becomes more aware that it is omnipresent, more aware that it is omnipotent, more aware that it is omniscient. If you don't believe me, meditate. Meditate for a long period of time. If you can't wait that long, you can try some self-inquiry. That's a good method as well to become more conscious, and you will literally start to experience yourself as God. And there are degrees to which you can experience this. But my favorite way, and I think the easiest way and kind of most friendly way to the Western mind, like the Western scientific materialist mind, for you to truly grasp this and to truly experience yourself becoming more godlike and realizing you have been God the whole time, is to take psychedelics, specifically a high dose of a psychedelic. There are certain psychedelics that are better for realizing this than others. The best, from what I've heard, and most people's understanding, that the best for truly getting to these realizations is 5-MeO-DMT, or others are psilocybin magic mushrooms. Those work really well. I've had God realization on those personally. And LSD is a good one too. And there are many other psychedelics. But what psychedelics do is they amplify your consciousness. It's like turning up the level of lucidity in your dream. That's what psychedelics do. That's what psychedelics do in the real world. You start to understand that this is a dream. This reality, which you see as physical and have always thought as physical and separate from yourself, has always just been a dream by your awareness. Everything is a dream by your awareness. The only difference between this reality and your dreams is that this reality is very stable. Your dreams change every night. This reality typically stays the same. That's really the only difference. This is a collective dream by the hive mind of God that exists in every point of the universe and outside of the universe. It exists everywhere. And the true awareness that is God has full power over this creation, this dream. And it has full omniscience because it has created the entire dream, and it is everywhere within the dream. So, I've described a little bit about God and how you are God and everyone else is God, and consciousness, awareness is God. And I've described that. I have other videos related to that. You can look at my most recent video before this one. It's a good one to check out. if you want to truly understand even deeper why and how you currently don't experience yourself as God and what it takes to get there. I describe it. I think the video is called The Secret to Life, something like that. So that's a good one to watch if you want to know more about this whole God concept and this whole consciousness as God, you as consciousness and God. If you want to understand that more, you can watch that video. And there are many other videos. A really great channel to check out if you want to learn more about this stuff is actualized.org. Especially some of the more recent videos, they talk about consciousness and God in really enlightening ways. So anyway, now I want to move back to focusing on light and explain a few things, a few dots that I've connected. So in traditional religion, in all different religions, angels are always seen as beings of light. And if we look at the theory of special relativity, it starts to make sense. So these beings of light that have the ability to perform miracles or change things miraculously in the physical world and have power over the physical world and can do all these supernatural things, they're thought of as beings of light. And what did we just learn about light? Light does not experience space or time. Light, therefore, if there was a being that was light, and it was a being of light, an entity of light, it would have certain powers over this physical world because the laws that apply to a normal physical entity like yourself, a human being, they don't have this. They can operate in a timeless nature. They can operate in a nature that doesn't have to follow the laws of space. But it goes beyond this. In the law of one, the raw material, RA, it's a very good series of books that actually describe the nature of angels, and they describe them as beings of light. So in the law of one, there is an understanding that there are 7 different densities of consciousness. And a density is basically how dense an entity is with light. And we are currently in the 3rd, bordering on the 4th density. Our planet is evolving into the 4th density, which is also these are also correlate with the chakra system, the 7 chakra system. The 4th density is the heart chakra, love, compassion. That's where our planet is slowly evolving towards. In the 3rd chakra, the 3rd density, where most people are today, there is the egoic existence, the materialist existence, trying to create abundance in the material world. But after that, there is 5th, 6th, and 7th density. Angels are 5th and 6th density beings, 5th and 6th density consciousness beings, and they inhabit light bodies. They're literally like what I was talking about before. There's a series of books that describes the nature of how angels are light beings and how they have power over this physical illusion, this physical dream. They call it an illusion. What Ra is an entity that channeled the information for these books through a certain woman. She would go into trance, and then Ra would speak through her. And I know it sounds a little bit hard to believe, but from the past 6 or 7 years of learning about spirituality, spiritual enlightenment, I found that the Law of One books are just completely spot on. And they jive well with everything else that I've learned. And that's why I regard them as very good sources of information. So anyway, these angels, such as Ra, inhabit light bodies and have powers over this physical illusion. And that's really what I wanted to express to you, is that it makes sense why angels are thought of as beings of light in most religions, because light does not follow the normal physical rules of this existence that we experience. So, I hope that you found this video interesting. I know there were a few different sections to it, but I think it's all very good information, and I hope that you watched till the end. If you're seeing me now, that's great. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Comment with any questions or just statements you want to put in. And I'll be happy to read those, and I typically respond if there are any direct questions to me. And go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I upload every week, so hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching.